This is Breaking Barriers. It's a program that amplifies the voices of persons with disabilities in Delta State. And my name is Faith Herrero. On this episode, our focus is on the need for identity and representation. I am being joined by Mr. Stanley Oluchukwu Omenigbo for a powerful conversation. It's good having you this morning in the studio.
Thank you very much. Thank you, viewers.
So, on Breaking Barriers, you know how we do it. First, our guest will tell us how he had been living with disability. How has it been with him? Afterwards, we now dive into our focus proper. So, Mr. Odenigbo, can you please enlighten us, on how you have been living with a disability?
Okay. Well, my name is Stanley Oluchukwu Omenigbo.
Okay.
Well, I would say it's not been easy, but it's been pushing. I will also like to say that living with a disability is not the end of the world for me, and not the end of the world for as many who are listening. It's not been easy, but I've been moving. Thank you.
So, can you take us through how, you got this disability, or were you born with it?
Thank you. Well, from birth, it has been partial, but some 4 years ago, it became wonderful. I will put it that way. And since then, though I was made to resign forcefully where I worked as a teacher, and I left there, and since then I started mine, and God has been helping me since then. So it's 4 years ago, and since then life goes on.
So this 4 years that you mean, is it 4 years out of your job that you were doing, or 4 years into the disability proper?
Both.
Wonderful. So, and in this past 4 years, have you been married then when this happened?
Yes.
So how did your wife and children take it?
Well, at first, not easy for everyone, but right now, life goes on, and we are doing well by God's grace.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
So, Mr. Stanley Oluchukwu Omenigbo has been living with a disability for the past 4 years. He said from birth it was partial, but for the past 4 years it has been, and God has been helping him. Well, that made him lost his job. He was forced to resign. But as God will have it, he has his own. So, Mr. Odenigbo, so let's come back to today's focus. Today's focus is on the need for identity and representation of persons with disability in Delta State. So, if I may ask, what does identity mean to you as a person with a disability?
Well, thank you very much. Well, identity means recognition. Identity means a sense of belonging. And as it concerns the topic for today, we should say that it should be given priority as far as those that are with disabilities. Because if identity is given to those that have one disability or the other, it will help to cushion the effect on them and on the society, because they have something to offer. Like myself, I have things I do that puts food on the table up to date by God's grace. So that identity is something that everyone, both those that are with disabilities and those that are not with disabilities, should work on to see that people with disabilities should not be seen as invisible. Thank you.
So you are lending your voice to Delta State government, and the people living with disability shouldn't be seen as invisible.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much.
Welcome.
So how does the lack of representation for persons with disability in the state affect their voices being heard?
Thank you. When we talk about representation, we are talking about empowerment.
Okay.
When we talk about representation, we are talking about giving voice to those who don't have voice. When we talk about representation, we are talking about the ability to give those who have one disability or the other that opportunity to showcase what they carry on the inside. Because as far as I am concerned, I believe that everyone is gifted with something. Everyone is a distinction. That is what I believe. Whether you are carrying or you have a disability or the other, everyone is a distinction. So that representation should show in our media. There should be a representation. Before I go further, I would like to say that even the WHO, the World Health Organization, puts it that there are people with disability worldwide. In the South, for instance, there are about 17% people with disabilities, 17% population in the South for people that are living with disabilities.
Okay.
And in Delta State, which is our scope for today, it should also be noted that 1 in every 5 has a disability. Every 5 persons, adults you pass, 1 has a disability.
Okay.
So if we are looking at representation, that same ratio should reflect in the media. For every 5 workers, there should be 1 person that is carrying a disability that should be working in that place. In the government organization, in every 5 worker, in every department, in every unit, there should be 1 person with disability working in the midst of 5 persons. With that, there will be this voice from the grassroots into the other segments of the society. I think this representation will serve us better, both as people with disabilities and people that are not with disabilities.
Or as a state. But how do this representation start? The move. How do they go about it? You know, there has to be a move. So how do you think the move should be?
Thank you. Now, as we are here, we have started that move.
Okay.
The media is a focal point for that move to take place. Because as we are speaking now, there are people listening and watching us all over the world that will hear and say, oh, how do I start the media? From the media, it will get to the government sectors. It will get to the NGOs. It will get to everywhere. The families, the schools. For instance, I'm a teacher.
Okay.
And in every 5, when you stand in front of 10 children, let me put this. Once upon a time, I was in a class where my lecturer defined health as a state where there is no form of whatever. And I asked her one question I will never forget. I said, is there anybody who fits into that definition? And she said, no.
So it means, according to her answer, nobody is healthy or perfectly.
Yes, according to her, everyone has something that is disturbing. But those that have physical disabilities may be seen. So what we are doing now is advocacy. Everyone should be aware. Teachers in schools should carry forth this advocacy to make sure that the children, whatever disabilities they are having, I for one, I have taught for decades, and I have seen where children that were seen as will never do well become number 1 in the class. You see where children that are taking the last in the class just because there's a disconnect, just a little disconnect. Maybe psychological, maybe mental, maybe something. So ability for the teachers to find out that particular problem will help everyone to be able to make that child to do well. So for every child in the school, for the people in the market, for the people in the government sectors, and even the non-government sectors all should put voices together to make sure that this move should take place so that everyone that has a disability should not be neglected.
Can be identified and be represented.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
So, what kind of representation would you like, to see for people living with disability in Delta State?
Okay. Now, I want to appreciate the governor of the state, Delta State, because he is already on it, talking about the disability laws, implementation of these laws, trying to cushion the effects of those that have one disability or the other. But I believe more should be done. Because
so what's that more?
Good. Now, statistics has it that the percentage given to those with disability is 5%. And the 5%, statistics here has it that about 2% is being given, and that 2% is not even sure. So out of the 5%, for those that have disabilities, 2% is being given of the entire population of people who have disabilities. And that's not good enough. That number, that ratio should be increased.
But don't you think that it also boils down to those living with disabilities? Some of them kind of, just revert to fate and decide not to either forge ahead or to find something doing, to learn a trade, so that, when there's an opening, they can fit in.
Let me give you a very good instance.
Okay.
For instance, I am a teacher.
Okay.
Now, I do online tutorials for those in the primary, in the secondary, and adult education.
Okay.
And this had brought me to the entire nation. Now, the adverts go around. People see it. It's not just for people with disability or people. No, it goes around. Now, a question or questions that come around is, they will say, I never knew you had a disability. I teach people in different states.
Okay.
So the business is going on. When the adverts go, they don't ask you, do you have a disability? What they want to see is, what do you have to offer?
Yes.
And when they see their children doing well, from nobody to somebody in their various classes, the question will now be, wow, I never knew it would be like this. So that's what we are saying. Everyone who has a disability should be able to give what he or she has with distinction, even better than those that are said to be able.
I understand your point.
Okay.
That is for you
All right.
that desire the quality and has already trained yourself and you have something to offer. But there are some living with disability, just like some people that are able-bodied too, that they just feel they want to be spoon-fed. And if that thing is not there, they will just resign to fate. Either they just roam about, they don't go to look for, either get themselves trained, for, something, so that when the opportunity comes, they fit in. So the question is, because you are saying the percentage is minimal, that they should increase it. So the question is, don't you think the reason for that percentage is because of the people who had already kind of trained themselves and they know they can stand the test of time and they can beat their chest to say, I can do anything, I can offer that which able-bodied person can offer? Probably they are also so minute. Don't you think so?
Well, no matter how minute the number is right now, the employment opportunity given to those with disability is still very low, because when they apply, I took note of the number last time.
Okay.
The ratio was very low. Those that were taken and those that were not taken, the ratio was as good as 1 to 10.
But don't you think it's done by their performances?
No, because they are qualified. I'm not talking about those who are not qualified. I'm talking about those who are qualified.
Okay.
Those who have something to offer.
Okay.
They have certificates. They have capacity. They have value. They are ready to change the economic status of their family and even the states, even the nation. They have something to offer, but the issue is the opportunity is very, very small because they believe that those with disabilities have nothing to offer. So that awareness is part of why we are here. And that's why we are doing what we are doing, to make sure that people with disabilities should come out and demand their right. Enough is enough. That time where people will wait for them to come and beg them to come out from their shell. No. Those with disability should come out and take what is theirs.
So you are invariably encouraging those with disability to come out of their shells, not to just resign to fate.
Yes.
That there is ability in them.
Yes.
And that ability, they need to put it into play in offering services even to their state and nation.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Well, I've been having fun, on this issue, the need for identity and representation for persons with disability, and you have done justice to it as far as we have gone on the program. But we'll quickly take a short break. When we return, the discussion will continue. Viewers, you hope you have been enjoying the program just as I do. Well, there is more to come, but we'll quickly go on a short break. When we return, the show continues. Please do stay.
Thank you.
Breaking barriers, empowering lives, shattering disabilities. Join us on Breaking Barriers, a powerful program beaming light on lives of people living with disabilities, inspiring stories, courageous conversations, and remarkable achievements. Foster empathy, celebrate triumph, and challenge perception. Get ready to be moved, motivated, and inspired. Breaking Barriers, showing every Friday at 11:30 a.m. on NTA Asaba, the station that adds value to society. Welcome back. This is Breaking Barriers, a program where we showcase and highlight those living with disability and the ability in them. Of course, if you have been with us on the program, you have heard Stanley Oluchukwu Omenigbo. All he has been through and his own opinion on inclusion and identity. Well, if you have missed that, you could also follow us on our social media handle. You could just go to NTA Asaba Live on YouTube and NTA Asaba Channel 11 on Facebook. You will get all the details there. So, Mr. Omenigbo, it's been good talking with you. Before we went on break, you spelled out how you want the representation and inclusiveness. So this time I want to ask, how should government, community groups in Delta State promote inclusiveness and representation for persons with disability? How should they do it?
Thank you. Now, for the government, they've started, or like I said before, laws should be made, and the laws are being made already. And the order is to implement the laws that have been made at all levels. When these laws are implemented, it will give those that have disabilities the opportunity to demand based on the law. And where there's no law, there's no sin. So if those laws are in place, then it will be easier for everyone to demand that law. That's one.
Okay.
Number two, the government and the officers in charge, like I said, if people with disabilities are part of the lawmaking process, are part of the implementation process, are part of the legislative process, it will give the force and voice we demand. Then from the community aspect, when we talk about the community, we're talking about the family first.
Yeah.
Because that's the smallest unit of the society.
Yes.
If in every family, parents should have the right orientation. In every school that also make up the community, teachers should have the right orientation. So in this case, each of these should be given awareness. They should be given awareness, just like we are doing now. When they are aware that their children are not non-entities, rather every child, starting from the child now, because that's where it should start from, to the adults, are given something called distinction to offer to the families, to offer to the states, to offer to institutions.
And even to themselves.
Good. So in this case now, if that is offered from the government and from the community, it will help. But I still want to state that everyone that has one disability or the other, or those that are not even recognized, like I said, the lecturer said none. Is there anyone that fits into that common definition? She said none. Just that those with physical disabilities are being seen, but there are those who don't have seen disabilities that are obvious. So in summary, I will say that from the government, from the community, everyone should put hands on deck to see that things are done right. But those that have disabilities in any way should be part of that 1:5 to make sure that each of the laws and the implementation of those laws should be implemented by those who are also in this group.
In that group.
Thank you.
Because they are those that are wearing the shoes.
Yes.
So they know where it
it's
is.
pinchy.
Thank you so much.
You are welcome.
Mr. Stanley.
You are welcome.
So at this time, I want you to share with us any personal experiences where you felt represented or underrepresented as a person with a disability in Delta State.
Okay. Well, the aspect where I feel represented. Well, there are some groups. There are some groups like Junapid. There are some groups like NAB. There are some groups. These groups, they represent the people with disabilities.
Okay.
Enforcement's voice are being given to them to the extent that been given. And that's why we are still here, to make sure that more should be given. So that those that have disabilities, in every police station, there should be a person there. In every corner, there should be a person there. With that, the representation will be very high, thereby driving home the reason why we are here, advocacy.
No, but you've not really given me the answer.
Okay.
I said, if you can share a personal experience of yours in a place where you have been represented before or underrepresented, there should be. It could be either you were represented, as a personal experience, or you were underrepresented. Since you're advocating for identity and representation, I want a personal experience of yours.
My own personal experience of being represented or underrepresented.
Yes.
I would say that for those who have represented my opinion,
Yes.
that's why I mentioned these few groups. They are doing what they should do.
Okay.
So they are representing, but they cannot get the full bread because those who are handling the bread are not ready to share it enough with those who have one disability or the other.
So in that case, where they are unable to share it equally, it becomes the area where you are underrepresented. Is that it?
Underrepresentation. So there's what in the aspect of underrepresentation, I would say that is even the bulk of it. Because where the 1:5 is not observed in every office, then there is a 95%, 98% underrepresentation.
Mr. Omenibo,
Yes.
you are still talking generally. I want your personal experience. I want you to share it with us. Probably, maybe you went, you've been a teacher and you went to a school wanting to get a job or something, and you could do it. You have all the abilities, you have the qualifications, and getting there, maybe something, just because you have a disability, there was one issue or the other, nobody represented you, they felt no, you are not there. And there could also be a place that somebody could stand, once you are welcome, they said, yes, this person can do this. That is where you are presented. I want a personal experience of yours.
Okay.
Because if you're telling a personal story, people will get to understand what it means. They will understand the importance of representation and identification.
Okay, let me bring it this way. I was assigned to be here. I now have been thrown out of job for once because I was a person with disability. And that gave me this urge to stand up, to say no. Those who have these disabilities do not need to suffer what I had suffered. So with that, with what I am doing now, when I meet people with disabilities as I teach now, you see that I want to know what is their weakness, what is their disability, what is that thing that is making them not to be able to learn the way they should have learned. Once I'm able to pick that, in 2 weeks, a child that cannot solve mathematics will start solving it. In 1 month, a child that was never doing well starts doing well. Once that loophole is picked, and that's where I come in as a person, and that's representation.
Thank you so much. So we have really spent much time, but before we go, I want your last word, either of appreciation to the Delta State government and also an appeal for persons with disability in Delta State.
Well, my last word is this. I want to appreciate the governor and all those who have been doing something to make sure that those with disabilities are enjoying the percentage they are enjoying right now.
Okay.
But I want to say that identity and representation is not a statement. It is empowerment, it is recognition, it is justice, and it brings economic prosperity.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I have been with Mr. Stanley Oluchukwu Omenigbo. I've been with him for a while, and he has taken us through his experience with someone living with disability, and he has also shed light on what he feels he's enjoying or they are enjoying. But he still appealed to the government, to the Delta State government, for an increase of the percentage, that the 5% is minimal. Well, I think we thank the Delta State government for having that in mind and even including them. But just like his appeal to increase it, I know our governor, our able governor, is working towards that. Well, Mr. Omenigbo, it's good having you in the studio today.
You are welcome.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much.
So just keep doing your good work, keep adding value, to those you're adding value to through your teaching online and all that, and God will continue to strengthen you.
Thank you very
Your
much.
appeal, by the grace of God, will be heard, and something also will be done on it.
Thank you very
Well,
much.
this is where we draw the curtain for today on Breaking Barriers. Breaking Barriers, as you know, is a program that amplifies the voices of those living with disability in Delta State. By next week, we have another edition. I hope you join us then. But before then, be good Deltans and a good Nigerian. Walk safely and have a blessed weekend. See you next week. Bye.